This workshop is mainly to share more knowledge on how the budgeting has to be done, how the materials has to be selected. So we'll quickly go over the contents we are going to discuss about. Okay, first thing is that how do you budget? How do you plan the budget for your home interiors? Second one is modular and non-modular difference. And next we have who is the right person to execute your work. We have a couple of options. One second. Yes. And the next one is how do you choose the materials? What is the right material in which location? And then we have the timelines, like approximately how much time is required to complete the home interiors, depending on the size, number of bedrooms, or maybe the number of amount of work involved. Okay. So yes. So to tell you about Yellow Ant Nest, we are a digital platform for architects where you can actually, we are providing a platform where you can actually buy the ready to build designs. And it is also a platform where you can find carpenters, plumbers. So they have the option to prepare a profile according to which they can find new customers in their locality. And we are also trying to build a database of materials where you can understand what is the kind of material, every material in the construction industry we are trying to get in on the database. And here you will be able to understand the durability, cost, how to use it, what is it made of, etc., etc. Is it affordable? And depending on the pin code, you will be able to search for this, but it is still under construction. We need a lot of support to get this into market, but it is taking a little time. So basically, this is about Yellow Ant Nest. And coming to me, this is I personally I have 15 years of experience in residential and commercial architecture, where I have worked with Homelane, Livespace, Hofeto Homes, and few other interior designing companies. Apart from that, I have worked with few architecture firms, and I have also taught in couple of colleges for diploma students and also architecture students. And yeah. So we'll start with the budget. How do you plan your with that approximate costing? At least minimum of 10% has to be kept for the interiors. This is a thumb rule which generally followed, has to be followed if you need a really good interiors. So how much ever thoughts or whatever the kind of design the architect would, unless it is not finished with a really good interiors, then the output may not be that attractive, or it will not get that finish what it was, what it was supposed to be having. Okay, so here is a small example. One second. Okay. So here is a small table which we have. So we have to categorize what all things are involved. These are the basic category which we can divide into. Coming where first one is the woodwork, where most of the people consider this is the entire interior designing coming into picture, where it caters only like 30 to 40%. There is lot of works to be completed apart from the woodwork. So, for example, it can be the loose furniture, and you have the walls, wall treatments. It can be a wallpaper or the wall paneling or any texture paint. So it can be anything, but the wall treatments will be done, and maybe the false ceiling and the lighting, which is really crucial for the interiors. And you also left with home decors, which actually enhances your the final output, the finishes. And the last one is additional fees here and there along with the designer fee. So for example, if you consider, if you are completing your woodwork for 2 lakhs or 3 lakh rupees, a minimum of around one and a half lakh, or at least 1 lakh has to be kept for loose furniture, where that includes your seating arrangement, sofas, what kind of sofas you want to go for, your dining table, and your beds and the cots, and your center table, and maybe here and there loose furnitures where it can be a book storage, or it can be any other storages, or some um, couches, or single seaters. So these things will be coming under loose furniture. And then we have wall treatments. As I told you, you can either go for wallpapers. We will discuss this in detail in the going forward. But we have, these are the things which we need to consider while you're deciding on your budget. So when you allot a certain amount of money for each section, then the entire process will go smooth. You will know your limit, like how much you can spend for this, how much you can spend for that. So according to that, you can do your selections. Based on your budget and limitations, you can do your selections, and your home looks complete, and it will not feel like empty or too much of things inside the house. So basically, to get the finished look, these are the things which are important to be considered in your budget. Yeah. So when you're starting with your home interiors, there is two options which you can go for, especially in the woodwork. That you have the questions with modular interiors, modular woodwork, or non-modular. So many people have this question: how do you differentiate modular and non-modular? As the word itself says, modular is nothing but you have a definite modules, the boxes. Consider the box as a module. On the right hand side, you can see the pictures. So carpenter will make the individual boxes and place it next to each other. Okay, suppose you have a 12 feet of wall where you have 600 mm, 500 mm, standard sizes of boxes will be made, and those are installed next to each other. And then after that, the accessories will be provided. It can be for the wardrobe, it can be for the kitchen, or it can be for the toilet storage. So anywhere you use, when you go for this standard size of modules, then it is called as modular. The plus point here, the advantage is to a new place. You have bought a new house in a different city, or maybe in the same city, or maybe after 15 years or 10, 20 years, you want to change your interiors, then you can use the same modules. For example, you are seeing here a ladder unit. We call them as a ladder unit, where this can be replaced either in your toilet, either in your bedroom. So as it is, it will be dismantled and placed in whichever place you prefer to use it. And also maybe the laminates, or the veneer, or whatever the finish material you have chosen, that can be replaced, might not be replaced. Sometimes you have the option, or about the same finish, you can use some other option where it will give you a new look. So the plus point is that it is easily dismantled, and second one is that it can be taken to a different place. Maybe if you do not prefer to have it in your own house, or if it is there in a rental house, where you can shift it to your own house, or from the own house you can shift it to the rental house. So these modules will be helpful. Maybe the additional spaces, only there you will have to prepare the additional modules according to what is available here. So there will be no wastage of materials, it will be reused. And second thing is, you have both the options: either you can get it done from the factory, or you can get it from the carpenter also. So carpenter, when you say modular, he might not be able to understand or figure out how it has to be planned. So when you go for modular, maybe designer will be compulsory required, where she or he can provide you the drawings based on which the carpenter will be able to do the modular design. So non-modular is something like this, where you have a huge wall. Depending of the final size of plywood which will be available is 4 by 8. So the biggest box a carpenter can make is 8 feet. So directly he will place a 8 feet by like 2 feet or 3 feet the size box he will make, and inside that the shelves are provided. So you will be generally seen in the corners, especially you will have this overlapping of boxes. That is the reason many places you will not be able to utilize the corner areas efficiently. So when you go for modular, so you have a proper systematic design where the corners are taken care really good, where you can utilize the entire space available in the corner. For example, corner has a lot of depth, where it will be helpful for you to store your pressure cooker, pans, or pots. Bigger utensils which are heavy or which requires more space can usually go in the corner of the kitchen. Or when you consider in the wardrobes, you can have the corner hanger rods in placed in perpendicular to each other. So what happens, all your corner will be utilized, like fully 100% utilization will be done. The negative points or the plus points here is one thing, where the units are made according to the carpenter's calculation, and you will be able to see exactly how it is made, or until it is made by the carpenter you will not be able to figure out what is exactly providing. So you will not know until the result, after he attaches the drawers or shutters, only then we will be able to understand, okay, this is what the carpenter is providing us. That is the reason most of the times designers are required here. And it also depends on what is the kind of how much skill the carpenter has. If he is really experienced and has worked on the modular kitchen, then he might be able to provide you the modular units. Not only the modular kitchen, any modular house, he will be able to provide you the modular. Otherwise it can be a challenge for him. Where, for example, if you go for a branded interior design companies, for example, Homelane, Pepperfry, or IKEA, so anywhere you go, you usually get the modular types, where this is the example I can show you. So this is one box where he will prepare one unit like this, and this is another box. This is a common way of doing from many years. The carpenters are doing in this way, where if you consider for the modular, um, these people design the modules in a very complex way, where it will also provide you the waterproofing, so the wood will not be in directly contact with the wall. So even if there is any seepage of water, or if there is any dampness in the wall, so your wood will not be affected. That is the reason why they will be able to provide you 10 years to 15 years of warranty. Where with the carpenter, there is chances that if your wall is damaged, the wood will absorb all the water and it will start bulging out, which will in return it will end up like the entire kitchen has to be redo. They have to be completely remove the woodwork and they have to redo it. Okay. So as I told you, modular interiors, when you go with the factory finish, you have the advantage that there will be no dust, cutting will not be there in the home. So most of the things will be taken care in the factory. They will prepare all the panels, all the boxes, everything ready. They will get it to the site and they will install it. And this will be happening on the time dates what they provide, because it is done with the machineries. So hence you will exactly know when it will be done. Second thing, since it is machine pressed, so the laminates or acrylics or any finish material which you are going to choose will be pressed on the machines, which will have really high pressure, where carpenter or any man-made things will not give you that finish. All the problems like bubbles in the laminate or bubbles in the acrylic finish, so when you do it manually, there is chances that the airlock will be happening, the finishes will not come out as good as factory. Where even the edge bending, how much ever skilled carpenter, when you're providing the edge bending, you will not get the soft finish when you go with the man-made shutters, especially the shutters, because the carcass can be made in the factory or carpenter. You can either go for shutters, only shutters with the factory, or you can go with carcass is nothing but below the shutters, whatever the box you have the body, that is called as the carcass. So carcass can be done either from the carpenter or in the factory. So usually what happens, many places, to because of the budget constraint, most of the times people go with carpenter carcass, where they will prepare all the boxes, everything, and in the end they will get the doors done in the factory, so that this will give a very neat and soft look, where you will not have any sharp edges. So when you have that touch also, you will be able to feel that really good finish. So that is the best advantage with going for the factory. So whereas coming with the carpenter, you will be the person where you will provide the materials. So it will be happening in front of your eyes. So you will know what exactly is going inside the finished material. So if you have any trust issues with the factory finish, if you prefer to have it done in front of you, maybe get the carcass done by the carpenter. And shutters, I would suggest you to get it from the factory finish. Then we'll decide, like, we have few options, like who are the people who can provide you the execution. There are four options. One is carpenter. A second one is all the brands, as you have heard, like Livespace, Homelane, Pepperfry, Godrej. All these brands will provide you a factory finish, I mean factory made home interiors. These people is the second option. Third option is that everything, the designing and the execution, will be done by the designer firms. For example, they will have their set of people, skilled people who can understand their designs, who can understand their drawings. According to that, they will execute at the site. So this is the third option. The last option is you will find many freelancers who can provide you the designs, who can provide you the guidance at the site and tell you exactly how it has to be done, what is the kind of fixing that has to be done, what is the kind of hinges that has to be put. So along with this designer, you can hire your own carpenter and he will be executing the work. These are the four options. So we'll discuss what is the advantages and disadvantages under both the sections. So if you know a carpenter from 20 to 30 years and you really trust this person, then you can go directly with the carpenter. Only issue is that he might not be having complete design experience. He might not be knowing the new materials available in the market, and he might be following old traditional methods. And the final finish will not be understood by you until unless he completes the work. And even the coordination with other tradespeople like plumber, electrician, fall ceiling, all these things will be handled by your side, since his work is to only provide you the woodwork or the or few other things which he has confirmed with you. The second one is the industry brands, which we said. Here, the advantages is that they will keep a very transparent pricing. It will be same for any person who prefers to go for industry finish. Second thing, you will have a designer assigned to you, personal designer assigned to you, who will take care of all the designs, coordination, materials. Like he will discuss with you or she will discuss with you and provide the options and suggest you these are the matching materials under your budget. So that is one thing. Second one is that everything will be factory made. Because of that, they will be able to provide you the warranty or the guarantee what they are providing. The disadvantage is that they will have limited options because involvement of manpower will be very less here. They will be depending on the machineries more than the human power. So that is the reason customization, or maybe here and there few things which you might ask, maybe a curved a drawer or a curved wall or anything that is customizable, not the modular. So these things they might ask you to pay extra, which can be the double the times what you pay for the carpenter, or sometimes they will completely deny it, saying we cannot do the design. So this is the issue which we have with the industry. And third thing, when you get a quotation, there are few things that you have to consider. You have to check like how many things are coming from their catalog and how many things are outsourced from them. So things which are providing from their side is the things that you have to go for, where they can give you a really good discount. And when you go for the outsourcing things, like for example painting, fall ceiling, or the loose furniture, all these things will be outsourced from these people. So what happens, they will have some overlapping, or maybe if you go directly to these brands, they will be able to provide you a better discount. And the last one, many brands will either tie up with the local carpenters. So when you have these custom designs, apart from the factory work, the other things which requires manual work, these carpenters will be doing it. So when you have this overlapping of designs, for example few modules are coming into the catalog, so that reason you will not be required to hire you will not be required to, the modules are entirely coming from the catalog, so you will not require to hire any carpenters or any other people outside their team. So if you require any modification, small customization is required, then additional team will be working with them. So these tie-ups, these carpenters or everybody who is working for them, we are not sure like how much professional they will be, and we are not sure how much skilled people they are. So it is always safe to go with what are the suggestions they are providing under their catalog, what are the things available, and get the other things done by your personal carpenter or any other local carpenters available for you. Then is the studio firm. So budget wise, when you go for carpenter, it might be very economical. And when you go for these brands, it might be little higher side compared to carpenter. But at the same time, you might get the customer care, you might get a very really good finish. And the hassle between coordinating with the carpenters, electricians, or plumbers, or fall ceiling, so will be taken care by the assigned designer. When you go for the design firm, here the principal architect will be taking care of all the projects, and they have the team who designs it for you, and they have the team who will be executing it for you. So most of the times design team and the execution team coordination might be lacking, so because of which the end user, that is the customers, might face the problem. So apart from that, the advantages is that you get a really good output and the best finish. Like for example, the trending designs, the trending materials will be used, the best combinations will be provided because they're expert in that. So that is the reason you will get the best. Comparatively, the price will go higher than the brands. And the last one is designer and your personal carpenter, where designer will provide you all the drawings, and he will guide you what all the how the execution has to be made. So with this combination, maybe this will help you to get the personalized designer as you wanted, and also the carpenter with your trust who can provide you the best service which you trust that person. So here the problem might come is that the understanding what designer has might not be understood by the carpenter. Suppose you have a carpenter who is like 30 years, 40 years experience, they might not be understanding the designs or the drawings what the designer is providing you. So that coordination will be difficult. And second thing is, many things what the suggestions coming from the designer might not be under the services provided by your local carpenter. So this division, so this bifurcation, so who is doing which work has to be decided, and according to that you have to take the quotation from the carpenter. So in other ways, what happens most of the times, carpenter will assume the work, like how much work is provided. In general, they'll assume, and according to that they will provide the quotation. So only after getting the quotation, after you pay the carpenter, after these scenarios, the designer will come into the picture. So what happens, there might be clashes, say like this is not required and you have already paid for that particular service. So make sure your designer knows for what you're paying for, and he also knows what is the kind of skills your carpenter has got. So make sure they have the conversation, they have to talk to each other and understand how what the work has to be done. So initial conversation is required. So beforehand, designer will know according to carpenter's skill set, he will be able to provide the drawings. According to carpenter or the other people's skill set, he will be able to coordinate at the sites. Okay. So the next stage is how you choose the materials. What all materials you have to do, you have to select, and what basis you have to select. So main things that you will have to select as a client or a designer will be, one is woodwork. In woodwork, you have to select the core material and the finish material. Then you have to select the walls, like what kind of walls you prefer to have. And then you have to select the furniture. And last thing is the upholstery. Once you finish with the upholstery, and the last thing is upholstery and lighting. Coming to core materials, there are so many materials come into the market, where everyone might be hearing a lot of options but might not know which is the best option for based on the location. For example, if you are getting the woodwork in the kitchen, it is always best to go for BWR. BWR is nothing but the boiling water resistant. Resistant is that it can hold up to 24 hours to 72 hours under the boiling water. So that is the resistance power what BWR has. And BWP, even if you keep it for a week under boiling water, so even then it will retain its own shape and strength. So because of these things, we suggest to go for BWR in the kitchen because it is a semi moisture area, and BWP for the toilets. So based on these, you can select here. If you go for the brands or if you go for the designer studios, where you can individually select, okay, for the kitchen I want to go for BWR, for the toilet I want to go for BWP. Especially when you're going with carpenter, he might not give you the quantity based on this, and there might be chances that lot of wastage will be charged on you, where in general he might ask you to use BWR in all the places, or he might ask you to use commercial ply or HDHMR, which is to be safer in general. So for the entire house he might prefer to go for single material. So this advantage you can get in the brands because they will handle all the wastage. They will know exactly how to handle, how to divide and how to prepare the modules without having too much of wastage. So as I said, BWP for the toilet, BWR for the kitchen, and then we have commercial ply is a very common ply which can be used for your TV units or your bookshelf or the partitions. So where not too much of spanning is required and not in a moisture place, then you can go for commercial ply. And when you require to paint a surface or maybe a partition, or when you need a very smooth finish, so in those places, you can go for MDF. MDF is usually considered like very economical or low budget material, where if it is used with the right finish, then it becomes really strong. So I'll come there with which one we can use. HDMR is the high density moisture resistant. The plus point, the property which why we use this is that it will not bend over a period of time. For example, BWP, BWR, or any commercial ply, when you use it for the wardrobe shutters over a period of time, because of the weather, hot and cold weather, it will shrink and it will expand. Because of that, there is chances that it bend. So either it can be a sliding wardrobe or it can be a hinged wardrobe. When you go for 7 feet tall and only like 1 feet, 1.5 feet shutter, there is high chances that it bends. So this HDHMR, the chances of bending is very low, and even if it bends, it is like very minimum, like 1 mm or 2 mm maximum bending can be seen. That is in very high weather differences. Then we have particle board. Particle board generally are used for only the support system, or maybe the unwanted things which will be dismantled or thrown off later on. So those will be used for particle board. Particle board is very hollow. Mainly the wood waste is compressed with the high glue and pressed into boards. Those are called as particle boards. They are very light in weight. They have very less strength, and it is generally used for the um, temporary structures. So for example, only during the work stage you need a table or something, then they will use the particle board. So under this MDF, HDF, or commercial ply, HDF is nothing but this. MDF is medium density, HDF is high density boards. So all these ply either will come with bare finish, that is the wood finish. It can also come with laminate finish. So both side by default you will get the laminated boards with white, or a few other options also be found. So when you prefer to go for these boxes, you can go previously, which is pressed in the factory. By default, you can get those boards. So we are done with the core material, and we'll decide, like, next part is the what colors you have to go. doesn't matter which material, but even then, even you go before you go to choosing for materials or the finish, you have to decide what finish or the what shade I have to freeze on. So for example, your designer might be, or you can finalize a color palette for individual room, or it can be for the entire house. Decide one color palette. It is available on Google or many places. You can find hundreds of color palettes. So finalize one color palette and stick to it. Say for example, as you see here, these are the color palettes which you have for this particular room. So in this one, if you have used one shade for your woodwork, or if you have used one shade for your flooring, so remaining things are the options where you can choose for the other elements. Maybe it can be for the wall finish, it can be for the carpets, it can be for the upholstery or the fabrics that you are going to get. So this color palettes will guide you on what color of laminate you have to choose, or it can be a textured, or it can be a plain finish. So that doesn't matter, but it will give you a guidance. Okay, for this particular room I have to go with this color palette. So you'll get a number of options like pastel colors, earthy colors, neutral, bold colors. So depending on your taste and preferences, or depending on who is using it, maybe for your parents or grandparents, you can go with the light pastel colors or very neutral colors. Maybe for the kids or teenagers, you can go for bold colors. So we'll come to the finished material. Once you have this color palette set, after you complete your woodwork, like the boxes are ready, but you have to give them the color choices. So in that, for the woodwork especially, we have these options. One is laminates, and then we have wallpaper, then we have acrylic sheets, veneers, glass finish, and duco paints. This is arranged as per the costing. So for example, laminates are most economical one. At the same time, PU or Duco paints are the highest one, where it will cost you very high to complete one home interiors with the Duco paint. And it is Duco paint is not option for many places because it can have the scratches, and might be the finish what the person is providing might not come out 100% good. So it all, for everything, it all depends on the person who is doing it. But still, some materials give you a safer side that whoever is doing it, you will get the best finish. So in that manner, you have this glass finish, acrylic, and laminates. These are the three safer options where most of the people, like 90% of people, go for either laminates, acrylics, and the glass. So here, if you're going for a little luxury, then you can go for the glass shutters. Even for the kitchen, bedrooms, toilets, you can go for glass shutters with the aluminum frames. This is very much in use right now. And under laminates, you have a set of three set of options. You have matte finish, you have textured finish, and you have high glossy. So in these options, under each section, you will have solid colors, like plain solid colors. Second one is the wooden finish, lot of wooden finish which will give you a very authentic look. Finished laminates, it can be textured wooden finish, it can is just matte finish, smooth wooden finish, and high glossy wooden finish will be available. So in laminates, totally you will have six types. And recently you also have the printed laminates, and you have fluted laminates, and many other options are in market. But if you go for the brands, or if you go for a designer, then most of the time they choose to be on a safer. It shouldn't be like too flashy in the room. It should blend with all the materials. So by choosing the laminates, choose something which is not really flashy. And second one is it goes with other of your colors or the flooring. And also try to visualize when you are seeing that in a bigger scale, how it reflects in your room. Maybe on the palette it will be very small, you might like it when you put it on a bigger scale, that might not give you the same impression. So try to visualize it before you choose the laminates. And under laminates also, you have a different thickness laminates, where it will go from point 0.1, point 0.2. So depending on the brand what you're choosing, and depending on the kind of location or your budget, you can choose the laminates. And with the laminates, uh, the optional, like for example, if you're going laminates for your TV units and your wardrobes and everything, most of the people prefer to choose acrylic in the kitchens. The reason being, it is very easy to wash, very easy to wipe out the stains in the kitchen, easy to maintain especially. That is the reason people choose acrylic here. It will give you a very neat finish, a very glossy, mirrory finish. Even the high gloss laminates and the acrylic sheets, the acrylic sheet will not be beaten by the high gloss laminates. You'll be easily able to figure out that. And then we have the glass finish. That glass finish, usually you will get it from the Saint Gobain with the frames provided from the local provider, whoever is available. If you go for the brands, they will provide you with from the Saint Gobain only. You will get the frames also. And for the wardrobes, if you are going, the frames, you can go up to 9.5 feet, where you will get aluminum channels, which is unbreakable, and it also withstands the weight. It will be very lightweight, so it can go from floor to ceiling. So with the glass, like you can choose tinted glass, you can choose lacquered glass, you can choose plain glass. So depending on your selection, you can have that in the either kitchen, toilet, or wardrobes. In all the places, you can use the glass shutters. And then we have acrylic glass and Duco paints. Duco paints is generally like you have to completely finish your shutter, paint it, and then get it installed. This requires a very smooth finish. The best material to use for this is either MDF or HDF, because these will not have, you can smoothen the corners for these materials. So for either acrylic and Duco paint, generally people prefer, or the designers prefer, to use MDF and HDF. Main reason, because it will not chip. Like for example, when you see these books wrapped with the wrapper, at the edges it will open up. So similar way, this Duco paint and acrylic sheets, there is chances that in the corners it will crack open because of the sharp corners of the core material. So for that reason, it is usually softened, the corners are softened, and then it is wrapped with the acrylic sheets, or it is painted. And then we have wallpaper. So this is optional, and it is also a kind of DIY, where it is where you, for your old wardrobes or for your old kitchen shutters, you can buy these waterproof wardrobes, and you can use it. By default, you can stick these wallpapers to your wardrobes or your kitchen shutters. This will give you a really good look. And since it is waterproof and it can be replaced, you can remove the wallpaper and change it over a period of time according to your taste. So that is recent options which we are getting. And apart from that, Veneers is by default, the material is not really expensive. You can easily buy the veneers from the market for a really good price. But the problem is here, it is the real wood. The maintenance for real wood is difficult, because one is it has to be really, the termite proof has to be done. Second thing is the polish that it requires. It requires minimum of 3 to 4 polishes, like minimum 3 to 4 polishes, which will take up a lot more than its own cost. For example, if you have paid 200 rupees or 300 rupees for the laminate, only for the polishing you might have to pay up to like 400, 500 rupees. So that will end up more cost. And second thing is, because it is a natural material, there is always chances that it absorbs moisture from the atmosphere. And the weathering also, if it is not stuck to the ply or any core material properly, the edges coming out, and because of that, any hard or any hard object, the damages can happen, because it is soft and natural. It will not have so much of strength compared to your original laminates. So for the best rough and tough use, people prefer to go for matte finish laminates, where even after 10 years, 15 years, you will have the same look and same finish. And for the glossy laminates, over a period of time, slowly it will come down. Acrylic, for example, the recent maintenance, like every time you wipe it and wipe it, it polishes, and it will keep up its own natural shine. And even over a period of time, it will have a really good glossy finish. So by default, if you prefer to have glossy for a long period of time, I would suggest to go for a acrylic finish. And glossy laminates is like any vitrified tile. Like for example, it will be glossy and really shiny for a period of time, like 1 year, 2 years, after you keep wiping. So then the glossy thing will be gone and it will start looking more of matte finish. So you will know how old it is. Okay, then yeah. So for example, as I explained you, for the kitchen, we usually prefer to go for BWP, and the shutters you can either, if you prefer to go for acrylic, you can go with MDF or HDF. And HDHMR is equally soft when you compare to plywood or commercial ply. Wardrobes, better to go with HDHMR, that is the best option, or you can go with aluminum shutters. TV panel, it is completely free. You can choose any material. It can be MDF, it can be HDF, HDHMR, commercial ply. All these will go well with for the TV panels. Bathrooms, best to go with BWP, and if it is optional, if you have a division with glass partition or something where you keep dry part and the wet part separate, then you can go for BWR. Okay, so let's take a small break here. Then we'll continue with the accessories hardwares. Hello, am I audible? Okay. One second. Yeah, we'll continue the session. We'll take the questions in the end. Okay, so here we have completed our budgets, we have completed people who can execute it, and we have completed the core materials and the finished material. Once you have decided on this, next part is the accessories that you might need in your wardrobes or the kitchen units. So here you can see few of the accessories that you can use it in the wardrobe. So for example, you have a pull out for the hanger rod, which will help you even if you're going for 8 feet wardrobes or 8.5 feet wardrobes. Using these will give you option to use the entire space apart from the loft. So loft maybe can be reduced from 2 feet or 2.5 feet, and the remaining entire 8.5 feet can be used for the wardrobes, which can be used on a regular basis. So these are the organizers. Mainly the accessories are used to get all the things organized, and it is easily available for you at a point of time. So you will not, it's not necessary to search for it, or maybe even the look wise, it will look really neatly organized. And even the maintenance will be easy for you when you have these accessories. It will help you in maintaining the things. It will help you to extend the usability of the space, and at the end it will give you a very modern look, very classy look with the accessories. And a few things which you can see here is, one thing as I told you, hanger rod pull out, and the second one is your jewelry organizer. And these are the drawers which will help you to differentiate your regular wear or the occasional wears. And the last one is the trouser pull out. This will again help you to organize the trousers. The things which you have to keep in mind while selecting these organizers is that many times these organizers will take up more space than in general. Like for example, just having a hanger rod will give you a more space than having this hanger rod. Sometimes if you have a wider wardrobe, then if it is as it is shown, if it is fitting all the three, then it will make more sense. So depending on your space, you have to figure out how much utilization, if the accessories will help you or it will take up more space. Then for the kitchen organizing is a little longer list of things. So this entire topic can be discussed as a another workshop or another session, where there is endless options when you go for these kitchen organizers or the accessories required. So here are few options where most of the people generally use it in the kitchen. One is the tandem boxes. As you see here, what you're seeing here is the basic kind of options where it will come under very economical costing. That is, one is tandem boxes. Inside the tandem boxes, you can have this cutlery tray. This will provide you, like, this cutlery tray can be placed in this wire mesh, or it can also be placed in these kind of drawers, which will, on from the sides, it will give you a very sleek finish. And this is more durable and even easy to maintain compared to this wire mesh steel tandem boxes. And the second one is the spice pullout or the bottle pullout. Spice rack, where you can get up to three shelves when you pull the when you have this pullout, you can have the three shelves, or you can go for two shelves. If you prefer to have the oil bottles, ketchup, sauces, so when you have more bottles to store in your kitchen, then you can go for the bottle pullout. Or if you prefer to use these smaller boxes, small dabbas, then you can go for this spice rack. Then we have this wicker basket you might have seen in many kitchens. Then you have pull-out dustbin where the lid remains where it is, only the dustbin will come out. So once you close it, the lid is also closed. Then you have corner units. This is the corner tray which is in half circle, where this is also a wire mesh. The disadvantage of this is that when you use a open corner unit will give you more space, whereas comparatively here it will cut off all the corner spaces, because it has to be easily accessible, it has to come out of the box, so all the corners are rounded off. That is the reason hardly you can store in few things on these racks. So preferably when you have less storage and you want easy accessible, then you can go for this corner units. If you have more storage, you want to utilize every corner of the kitchen, then I would advise you to go for only the shelf in the corners. So this is another corner magic tray unit, where it will also come out comparatively to the half circle tray. This tray will give you more space to store more utensils or the more boxes. And then we have tall unit. This tall unit also, like, not 100% I can say, over 10 years or 12 years, if you're storing too many things on this, there is chances that the door is not able to take enough weight, or the hinges is not able to take enough weight. So it can snuggle like one up and down, so it be difficult to open or close most of the places. But when you go for really good brands, or really expensive one which will give you a longer durability, so if you prefer to go for taller units, don't compromise with the cost, go for the best brands. And then we have the handles and hinges. Hinges, you have the soft close and the non-soft close ones. And for the corner units, you have to go for 180-degree shutters, where only these will help the corner units to utilize completely. And regular shutters will open only for 90-degree. When you only go for 180-degree hinges, the shutters in the corner units, which is placed in the L shape, can open up. And then you have these tandem boxes. Tandem boxes, it will start from like 3,000 and it will end up like 8,000, 9,000 rupees also. When you see this wire mesh tandem boxes, this will start from 3,000 to 3,500. At the same time, if you go for this sleek finish, either it can be Hettich or it can be Blum, any brand, if you prefer to have this sleek finish, it will go up to like 6,000 to 7,000. In between, for any range, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, at each ranges you will find each one or the other tandem boxes available. So there is the soft close hinges, and the handles. Usually, if you are going with the Carpenter or any other brands, these handles, they have a set of options provided to you. So within that those set, it is better to choose, because most of the handles, that it easily comes off while you are using. And the hold, very small screws or very small adjusting things will be there, where it has to hold the shutter for a longer period of time, and more open and close, the more they use it, it will become loose, and there is chances that this comes off easily. But the brands or the designers know very well what is the kind of fixtures go well, what can give you the better durability, especially in the handles. So I would suggest you to go with the designer's advice here. Then we'll come for the furnitures. One is the loose furniture. We have completed with the fixed modules. We have the loose furnitures. One is our sofas. So under sofa, we have these four to five kinds. I'm not going in detail here. You have these either two-seater or the three-seater sofas. We have sectional sofas and the recliner sofas. So under each of these section, we have multiple choices. So under L section, you have like corner L section with the back seat, without back seat. Or in the three-seaters also, you might be having the curved shapes, the boxes or the complete shells. So there are many options available under each section. So depending on your style or preferences or the budget, you can choose this. The circulation. So generally, what happens if you are having a very small space, try to get the furniture which doesn't occupy too much of space. So, for example, if you are going for wooden sofas, especially with the very carved wooden sofas or the bulky ones which will have the huge handles and the backrest is really thick, so these kind of sofas or any seaters will take up a lot of space inside the house. So you can either go for these metal legs and very sleek sofas available. So it will give you a good amount of space and also equally comfortable. And if you have a really large space, like huge living space, and you have lot of circulation area available, then you can go for these kind of bulky furnitures which will not take up much of space, and it will also give you an enhancement in the looks. And while you're selecting the sofas, you have these options. You can go with the combinations of like two single seaters and one three seaters, or maybe one sectional sofa, and you have these single seaters coming. So you can go with the combination according to your seating arrangement. And especially when you're going planning your TV arrangement, make sure the maximum number of people sitting in front of the TV face to face should be more and the sides should be less. Reason behind is that more of the people prefer to sit, or they should you don't want people to watch turning their necks on the other side. So the first preference when the entire room is empty, the first preference is that you sit right in front of the TV. So make sure you have more number of sitters right in front of it, and the sides you have lesser number. And you have these beds. Under beds also you have options where you can go with storage and without storage. Under without storage and with storage, you have either you can go with wood finish. Not only wood finish, you can get the entire bed done in the wood. And either you can go with ply or commercial ply or MDF. When you're going for ready made, then they might also prefer you for the commercial ply. They might manufacture it under the commercial or the HDF material. So before you buy it, you can check it. At the same time, you can go with the upholstery beds. So here are few options where this one you have the hydraulic storage where the entire upper part of the bed, you can lift it up and use the storage below it. And under the upholstery beds also you have these options these days where you can either go for the hydraulic or you can also go for the drawers. And without storage, this is the hardwood. As you can see here, there is no storage. It is very sleek and classic. And with the upholstery, you don't have the storage coming, and it will give you a very royal finish here. Okay, while choosing the furniture, you can either go with the single shade, like all the sofas, you can go for single color as you see here, or you can go with maximum number of sofas in one color and other two maybe a single seater or one couch on the side which you want to keep it, that you can prefer to the complementary colors or the fabrics with the printed ones also. As you see here, this is another option. And even if you have you can see here like three seaters is in one color, maybe the adjacent single seater you can go with the complementary colors of the cushions that you want to go for, or it can be the carpet, or it can be the wall color, or the upholstery, the curtains or the blinds you prefer to. So you can match it with either of one of it and have the combination of colors. Same goes with the dining table. You can have these days very much in trending to have the benches in the dining table, especially that goes after the walls. And the entire set you can go with one color or with the combination of one or two colors. Then the important, very important topic is that the lighting. So without the lighting, how much ever the whatever the finish you are buying, or how much ever you're paying, without the proper lighting, it will not give you the finest outcome that you can get. So make sure you preserve right amount of budget for your lighting so that you can create layers of lighting to enhance the beauty of the house. So lighting is mainly divided into these four parts. The one is the ambient lighting, task, accent, and decorative lighting. Ambient lighting is nothing but in general for the entire room to light up. General lighting which we use is called as the ambient lighting. And the second one is the task lighting. This is mainly in the kitchen, study, or maybe if you have a particular studio or any particular place which you use only for working. So those places you can prefer to go for task lighting. And then we have accent lighting. So generally, when you go for any commercial or any well-designed house or any space that is well designed, will be combination of these four. So you can go with ambient and accent highlights. So you have the entire house with one kind of lighting, where these accent lightings will enhance those, creating the layers. And the last one is the decorative lighting. This is the purpose of this is to enhance the looks. So you get lot of options in the market to enhance this lighting. This will give you the class, or this will give you a completely new outlook for the entire house. Yeah, this we discussed. And coming to the last part, we have the timelines. For example, according to the people who are executing it, if you consider the local carpenter might take like minimum of 2 to 3 months. This we are talking about for a 3 BHK, minimum of 2 to 3 months. So it can be from starting with the woodwork, complete flooring. After completing the flooring, only the woodwork, fall ceiling, painting, electrical works plus or minus here and there. And also the last one, upholstery. It might be the curtains or the blinds. So to get all these things, minimum of 3 months are required if it is a 3 BHK. And most of the industry brands, like I mentioned, they will provide you with 45 days after you finalize your design, after you provide the selection, after the selection is done. Once the design gets to the production, they provide you 45 to 50 days depending on the amount of work you are required, they required to deliver it to you. If it is bigger than like 4 BHK, or if you have too many things, even if it is a 3 BHK but the square feet is very high, so it can go up to like 60 days from the factory. So including your designing time, your selection time, production time, installation time. So it can go up to 4 to 4.5 months if it is from a industry. And then we have the studio forms. So since they go into more detailing, more creativity is provided here. So they will take a little more time comparatively. If your designs are very simple, easy to handle, they'll finish it off. Same with the carpenter timelines. But if your design has got too much of work, too much of skilled labors are involved, then it will go anywhere between 4 to 5, 5.5 months. Similar with the designer and the carpenter, where they also require completion. The designer will start way before the carpenters comes into picture. By the time you select the carpenter, designer will have all the drawings ready, all the walkthroughs and the finishes. Most of the things will be kept ready. By the time you get the carpenter, it will be more or less, it will be only the production things pending. So depending on how much fast the carpenter can provide you the deliveries, or depending on the availability of the people, the local people who are coming to your site and working. So it will also take up to 4 to 5 months. Okay, so this is about the selection and procedure of interior designing. So if you have any questions, you can ask me here. Guys, any questions? Okay, so
Hello.
regarding Vastu, it is a completely another set of topic to discuss. Most of the people have their own principles. For example, if you are considering people from Tamil Nadu has a different set of principles according to their local, say what, the kind of people who can provide you the Vastu consultants. From Tamil Nadu, they have different set of rules and principles. If you go towards Hyderabad or if you go towards Andhra, they will give you a different set of principles. It also changes according to the caste or religion. And most of the times, it is better to take the information or the inputs from the clients. And they can get these principles from their trustworthy person who can guide them on these Vastu instructions. According to that, take up all the things that has to be considered as per Vastu. After that, we can provide these designs according to what they have provided, the principles or the rules what they have set. According to that, we'll provide the designs. Any other questions?
Hello. Am I
Yes,
audible, ma'am?
yes, yes.
Okay. Firstly, thank you for teaching us about interior so much. Uh,
You're welcome. Tell me.
yes, ma'am. So my question is like when a site starts
Yes,
and the work is going on the site. So
yes.
what is the best course of execution? Basically, if we provide the drawing to the contractor and we go
Yeah.
there, what are the challenges we mostly face?
Main challenges as a designer, you are asking? You are a
Yes, as a
designer?
designer, as a designer.
Yeah, main challenges is that the person who is executing, right, he might not be able to read your drawings. He might not be able to visualize the details or the design you have given. So it is best to explain them in 3D, show them like this is how it has to be done, this is the output what I am looking for. So explain these things, show them the examples, and make them understand them, I mean make them understand according to the visualization. So that is when they will exactly know what has to be provided. Okay, that is one thing. Understanding the drawings is one thing. And the second thing is they have their set of principles already ready. Like, for example, from 10 years, 15 years, they're doing the same manual job from so many years. And recently, now, if you go and ask them to do something different, or if you change their rules, if you try to change their rules, some might try to get offended and say like this will not work, or they might say it will not stand, it might break, or they'll say it will not hold, you will face problems in future. So these are the common challenges which they say, but you have to be confident enough to tell them like no, it is all tested, it will 100% stay. So it's better you gain the confidence from the client, and you explain exactly why you are saying that it will work and why he is saying that it will not work. So maybe this discussion and making them understand will help you gain the client's trust, and according to that, you can take over the complete the execution. So try to not have any differences or no clashes with the carpenter or the execute people who are executing at the team. Keep your tone low and try to avoid any clashes. Go in a very smooth way.
Okay, thank you. And an example, I proposed us hidden door on a wall for
Okay.
the washroom basically. So
Yes.
the challenge when I faced that when the carpenter was executing that area, I provided
Mhm.
the drawing and the 3D. But even
Okay.
after that, the outcome was like not a proper finish. Like there was
They
a
might
line which
wouldn't
was
have
still so.
understood the drawing, because hidden doors, what happens if you already have the frames provided to the wall, then it can be a layer that you have to create an additional layer if it is jutting out of the wall, or if it is going inside, like there is one after the wall you have the frame going inside. So these scenarios, maybe you have to try and explain exactly till where you have to get the cladding done, and till where on the door, till where you have to, like, on site discussions are required here when they are not clear. And also make sure you tell them like if you are not clear on anything, please call me or try to ask me. You give that freedom so that they come and ask you more questions. So if you give that freedom, maybe most of the misunderstandings can be avoided.
Okay, kind of like we have to like get into the site and like explain them
The
with
more
there
the
and
site visits you can provide, the more the clarity will be there at the site. So you will not be having any shocks, or you will not be surprised to see that something else is done at the site.
okay
So after
and
you
like
give the responsibility, like somebody is executing that, they will not call you and ask you like, is this the right way, or this is how is it done? So it's maybe it's your responsibility, and call them like how much is done, how is it going? Take the updates from the carpenter, take the updates from the client, ask them to share the pictures and tell them like, are you finding any difficulty? Are you able to understand the drawings which I have provided? Ask them the challenges what they are facing. So keep your window open, ask them as many as questions possible, interact with them. Only then your designs will be executed smoothly.
yes ma'am, got it, thank
Okay. And one more advice is, as a designer, I will tell you like most of the clients, they might ask you with the pictures. Like they show you like this is what I want. Or sometimes even your designs, they like it in in the beginning, maybe after completion, they are not really satisfied. So try to educate clients saying the picture you are seeing in only one perspective. It is, even if it is a 3D picture, you are seeing it at a one perspective, but might be after completion it might not look at the same way. So for example, some people have a really photogenic face, so only in the pictures you might feel they're really attractive. They might not, you might not feel so attractive when in the actual real life. Similarly, even in the interiors or for the home, picture might show you a different angle, but at the place when you are actually using it might give you a different vibe. So make sure you understand these things, discuss these things with the clients and explain them like this can be a scenario. It can be, there can be chances. As a client, I would suggest to understand the image what they are giving, try to visualize it, try to understand the depths, shadows what they have provided, and see if you are really liking it. Imagine, try to imagine if it is completed in your house, how do you feel? So only after your visualization, provide the confirmation on the designs.
Yes, ma'am. For that, I have one more question about like how was the like when we put paints in 3D and when
Yeah.
the same paint is like painted on the side, sometimes they vary even if the code was the same.
Not sometimes actually, Laksh, right? Your name is Laksh. Not
Yes.
sometimes, Laksh. 99% it will vary because on the screen you might see a different shade. Okay. Screen to screen the shade will vary. Maybe on one laptop it might look complete white, bright white. On another laptop it might not look that bright. It might look somewhat off white. So suggest or make sure you practice this. Never give the option for the clients to select the colors on the screens. It can be the wall paint, it can be the laminates finishes, or it can be the wall panels. Anything, any color matter which you have to do the selection. Make sure you should have the touch and feel of the material. Show it to the clients. Get the confirmation after they see it with their own eyes, own naked eyes. Only then you will be able to give them 100% what they're expecting, because on the screens you cannot be able to visualize the colors. It is 100% wrong.
Yes, ma'am, got it.
Anything else? Any other questions? You can write it in the chat box if you do not prefer to talk here.
Hello, ma'am. I am Prashant Mandal from Bangladesh.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Prasant.
Hello. Yeah. Actually, I have no any question. Basically, I am from graphic design background. I am a
Okay.
graphic designer. So
Okay.
I feel any type of design sectors. Uh, it's I have lots of interest about design. So any type of any workshop or anything, I try to join there. So that's why
Okay.
I am here. So I learned lots of things from you today. So I am
Thank you.
grateful and thankful to you for this
You-
opportunity. That's
You're
it.
welcome, Prashant.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
No problem. Make sure you follow us on the social media platforms. We are there on all the platforms. So Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
will be posting the upcoming workshops. We are planning to have these workshops every month, depending on the availability of the topics, details which we require. We'll try to provide as much as possible. So this workshop, we have kept it free of cost. This is free workshop. Um, Depending on the people who has to join, like if we need any professional guidance who will be joining us as a tutors, depending on that we will be charging in the coming workshops. So I would request you to follow us to get all the updates on what are the topics for the workshops and who will be addressing these topics.
Yeah, sure.
Any other questions?
And will there be workshops like lighting and all?
We are deciding yet. Maybe you can consider lighting will be done, but I don't know when we will be doing it. In the upcoming month, we are planning to have the electrical workshop, like how the electricity is taken into your house, how it is distributed, what are the devices used here, what is the kind of controls you need. So all these things will be discussed in the upcoming workshop.
Okay. And one feedback I want to give is it will be much better if you can like give live examples also, like any site example of yours, so that we like
Yes, yes,
from
we
that.
will do it. Going forward, we will do it. Here, this was a very general topic, so one example will be not sufficient. For example, if I have to show you the modular and non-modular, then I need multiple things, multiple examples. So that is the reason we haven't chosen any one particular example here. If we are if you are individually taking one topic, say for example electricity, as I said, so we'll give you one example with one house or something. According to that, entire explanation will be provided.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else? I can see the request for the recording because it is a free recording. We have it only for the internal purpose. So we'll see if it is possible, if it is worth sharing, we will definitely share it. But otherwise, we are sharing a link for our blog where you can see all these information provided on this blog. It is already there. So most of the things which I have given you today, all the information which I have given you today, most of the things are covered in that blog. So we will share the link of that blog. You can go through it at any point of time. It will be available on our website. Any other questions? Can we wrap this up? So you can start leaving if you don't have any questions. I can wait until you complete or until the last person leave if they want to ask anything. You can start leaving. Thank you.